So without further ado, a nice clean welcome to a three-time first-team All-Pro, a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame's 2010s All-Decade Team, Super Bowl champion, future Hall of Famer, one of my favorite players, how do I say this, Tyrann, newly retired Tyrann Mathieu?
I know that's crazy, right?
How does it
I
feel?
mean, to be honest, it hasn't really hit me yet. I'll probably say the only thing that's kind of stuck out, really the last couple of days was Patrick Peterson called me the other day, and me and him just kind of reflecting on our careers and our lives, and the type of goals and commitments we made, way back when we was at LSU, right? And to kind of see both of us, retire in the same off season, but to just have like those lives that kind of just ran parallel, for like the last 12 years. And, obviously he's been like a big inspiration to me. Probably one of the biggest, in my NFL career. And so he's a big reason why I lasted, as long as I did.
I would say in your Hall of Fame speech, Patrick Peterson, among outside of the relationship you two have, like him being the punt returner in Arizona. I mean, you did it in college. Him doing it instead of you probably honestly added some longevity to your career, no?
Yeah, man. I'll probably say so. I'll probably say so.
Who else has called you? I like that you're singling out Patrick Peterson, but I can't imagine your phone isn't blowing up.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard from everyone. Obviously, former teammates from college, and the NFL, and I'll probably say another one that stuck out to me, Kate, was Bruce Arians.
Wow.
He called me yesterday, and man, just to hear his voice, and obviously, he was such a big inspiration, and really, I'd probably say was that father figure, that uncle figure, that I needed kind of coming into the league when I was 20 years old, and everything that I had kind of gone through a couple years before that at LSU. Um, Man, he made football exciting. He made me want to be a part of that team, man. And that was a good team, a good locker room that I had joined. So I know I talk about, Patrick a lot, rightfully so, and even Bruce Arians, but those guys like Larry Fitzgerald, coaches like Nick Rapone, Kevin Ross, like I think all those guys kind of they took it personal, when I got drafted there, and I think all of those guys kind of had an equally, shared responsibility, and kind of helping Tyron like just be who they know I could be, and yeah, that was like I mean that whole group was just a big blessing to me to really start my career.
Yeah, and I'm sure, and I know, I mean, Bruce Arians, Todd Bowles as well. They were huge for you
Yeah,
early.
yeah, yeah,
Mentors. I'm pretty sure Todd
yeah.
Bowles pretty happy that you're out of his division and out of the league, though, huh?
He probably is. He probably is, no doubt about it.
I know you're smiling. I like that you're being reflective. It's very cool to hear you just go to the beginning right away. You're just like
Yeah.
right there when I got there. I was actually even thinking this morning, we don't have to talk about the Hall of Fame, which you are a lock, so it's not even a discussion. But I'm like, who's going to knock on his door? Like they're doing that. It's kind of new, this tradition of like, who comes in? It's got to be Larry or Patrick, I
Yeah.
get, right? Like who would you guess right
Yeah.
now, even though I know it's far away?
I mean, I'd probably say, one of those two guys, Larry or Pat. I've played with like so many great players, though.
Yeah.
We just talking about Arizona, but I went to Houston and played with J.J. Watt, right? Like, and DeAndre Hopkins, and obviously going to KC and playing with Mahomes, and me and Coach Spags, who's probably like the greatest defensive coordinator of my lifetime for sure.
Hmm.
Um, you know, uh, yeah, I mean, I think OVC, Coach Merritt. So it's like I don't know who. I hope one of them knock on my door though. You know what I mean? But
It'll happen.
hopefully.
This is not an easy decision. I like that it hasn't hit you
Yeah.
yet. I like that we're laughing. It took you right up until camp to make it official, at least to the public. When did you
Yes.
decide to retire, and why now?
Well, I think to be honest, Kate, I think that's been a conversation I've kind of had, really going into the last couple seasons. And I think the older I got, the more challenging and harder it became to like leave my kids. Like at first it was all cool, right? Right, like I get the weekend off. You know what I mean? But then it's like after once you get like a certain age, or I guess I should say once you kind of, begin to experience like different parts of life, I think priorities shift, right? Like I think the things that meant the most to me when I was 22, they don't really mean the most to me at 33, and so I think my kids play a big part in that, and it's funny because I think the only one that's kind of upset with me right now is my daughter. she and she's
Why?
like 5, right? But and then my two sons, who's 12 and 11, um, I think they've like been able to experience this thing, right? And I remember one of them kind of telling me like, "Dad, I think you need a break, man. Like you've been doing that a long
Wow.
time, So I mean, to have the support of your kids as well,
Why is your
I
daughter
think
mad at
that
you?
that means the most. Well, I think game days for her is like a holiday. She gets to dress up and be my biggest cheerleader. So I mean, she enjoys those type of environments.
I have to ask you just because everyone wants you to coach. Like I put on my Twitter,
Yeah,
what should we ask Tyrann? And let's start here. What is it like to have all of the college football teams, LSU, of course, in the front, and all of the NFL team fans wanting you, fighting for you, fighting over you to come coach for them? But it doesn't sort of sound like, given your reasoning, prioritizing wanting to spend time with family, like coaching
yeah.
not in the future. What are we thinking?
Well, I think, well, for sure, I won't be coaching this fall. That's for sure. But who knows what the future holds? I think, anybody that's kind of known me and really been around me, I think they know how much I love football. And I'm pretty sure me retiring is kind of probably was shocking and surprising to some people, because they know how much I love the game and how much I've given to the game. So um, I'm really honestly, man, I'm looking forward to like the next great challenge. I feel
Mm,
like when I came into the league, obviously it was a great challenge for me because of where I come from and all those things. And I was really proud of the way I handled myself. The last 12, 13 years, and I've accomplished some of the greatest goals um, ever, really. And I'm excited to see like me do that in my next like endeavor. And I don't know if it's going to be TV. I don't know if it's going to be coaching. I don't know, but I know like me being away from football, I don't think like that's a thing. So it's like even though
yeah.
I retired, it's like I think my heart is still like with the game, and especially the players.
So your love for the game has not gone away. It's not like you're done. You'll either be coaching or I love the TV thing. Like
Yeah,
your emotional intelligence, all of it, like your football IQ is just amazing. Like all the quotes I like was looking back at through the years at things you said and like taking on even like I know that we're gonna talk about the Saints here, like Derek Carr, like the way that you see plays before they're made. It's amazing.
yeah,
So we're clear. We're not ruling out coaching. We're not ruling out TV. But on the
yeah.
retired football player scale, I don't believe in players retiring. I think y'all are all liars because too many people retire and then come back. So on a scale of like bingo, golf with Patrick Peterson and shuffleboard, retired, not working out anymore, to staying in shape and taking a call from Spags in January. On the other side, how retired are you?
I mean, I'm retired. Like I'm retired. So, and obviously, I had that conversation, with, somebody close to me, right? And it's like, I don't think they really believe me, right? Because a couple of days ago we were just talking about, how MJ kind of took a couple of years off, and
Yeah.
Dion did it, and so I think that's always like a possibility. I don't want to ever kind of rule, anything out. But I think as of right now, what my spirit is, mentally where I'm at. Um, yeah, I think I'm for sure. I'm retired.
You're retired right now, so let's relive some special moments. And you have that
Okay.
Saints helmet in back of you, and it's
Uh-huh.
just incredible. I was thinking about it, and your first career NFL interception which was your third ever game, by the way. It was back in New
Yeah,
Orleans for the first time. You pick off Drew Brees. As we're seeing here, what
yeah.
do you remember?
Man, I just remember, going back home and, obviously the excitement of it and, all my family there, all my friends are there. And, you know, um, I'm playing in front of, like my people, right? Even though like I'm on a visiting team. And I just remember, that whole day, man, like it was so hard to stop the Saints. I think they scored like 40 on us that day. It was like so hard to stop them. And
Hmm.
I think as a young player, man, like you just want to make a play. You just want to do anything to kind of give your team a spark or anything. And so yeah, man, like I thought that intercept would like give us a spark, for me to kind of come back in and invade, the hometown team. But Drew Brees and Jimmy Graham, they was just a little too much for us that day.
I mean, but it's a nice storybook ending, like your first and your last interception, both in the Superdome. Those
Yeah,
are it's crazy. It's like a
yeah.
movie. I was hoping, I mean, it might not be the end. I don't know if the door's open. I don't know if I quite believe you, but how much does it mean to you? And I'm hearing from Chiefs fans saying, "No, sign a 1 year deal, a 1 day deal. Like we want you to retire here." Why so important for you to retire as a Saint? What went into that, and how special is your relationship with that fan base?
Yeah, I mean, New Orleans, man, has been, really everything for me. I think the city, the people within the city, and even beyond that, really, the entire Louisiana, they've just been so supportive. They've been so supportive and, really so encouraging. And I think ultimately, as a youngster, man, like you just want to make your people proud. And I was so proud to kind of represent New Orleans, everywhere I went. And it was just so, it's just fortunate. I was fortunate enough, to say, when I had the opportunity to come back home, I think that was just a perfect, scenario for me. I had, really achieved everything, possible, to achieve as a defensive player, in the last couple of years. And um, to have the opportunity to come home and and really just be present with my foundation and ultimately, man, just giving these kids some inspiration and some hope. I hope I was able to provide that for them. These last couple of years, I've been able to be home.
And I think it's important that you say that everybody from like the Justin Reeds, it's how you're talked about by players, even like with that Chiefs team. I would say if I'm talking about you and your legacy, changing the game at the position you played, like just changing the league and how in everybody, all the Minkas, all the, you're the model
Yeah,
for scouts and stuff going forward. We can get into that. But it's also sort of helping build this dynasty, this lasting effect that you had on this Chiefs team, winning the ring, and then
yeah,
what you left by showing up early. Like I hear all these little tidbits, through the just
yeah.
being around the NFL. What would you like your legacy to be? Like what is the most important thing that when people think Tyrann Mathieu NFL that you want them to think of first?
Well, honestly, Kay, I hope that they speak about, my authenticity, how genuine I was, how passionate I was, not just about the game, but about my teammates and coaches as well. You know, I can't think of a bad time, and I've been able to really be coached by some of the best coaches, the NFL has ever seen, between Coach Reed and BA and like Spags and even Romeo Crennel in Houston, right? Like and Bill
Yeah.
O'Brien, like all these guys are great coaches, and I think all of them I think they all kind of left something with me, right? And I think all of them too. They know how much like how much of a student of the game I was, and so I think that's why all those guys are probably going to be fighting over me in the next couple months, trying to figure out who's going to hire me. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to that negotiating process. You know.
Yeah, the bidding war is on for your services. And it's so funny. You're speaking so highly about them. And I'm like, yeah, fast forward in 2 years when he's kicking your ass as the coach of one of these teams somewhere. You were such a fun player to watch because it was always just a game, like a play is going to get made. Something's going to happen. And you did it over and over again. 36 interceptions. Congratulations on that. 36
Thank you.
interceptions leads the entire league over those 12 years and you're in the league.
Yeah.
Nobody had more. You picked off
Yeah.
so many fun quarterbacks. Breeze,
Yeah.
Brady twice, Lamar a few times,
Yeah.
Romo, Russ,
Yeah.
newly retired Rivers. Who, tell me now since you're done, who is the most satisfying?
The most satisfying? Oh man. I'd probably say, obviously it's always kind of between, Tom Brady and Drew Brees. I think, obviously, Brady, like that, like those are important. Like he don't throw a lot of intercepts, and I think for me to be able to play against him as many times as I have, and be able to come away with a couple turnovers, like I think that's like every defensive player's dream. And I think with the Drew Brees interception is, man, like I'm kind of picking off, like my city's like savior. And so that
Hmm?
felt great. That felt good. Drew Brees is another one who don't throw a lot of interceptions, right?
Yeah.
Definitely, man. Just I feel fortunate to be able to have been on the field with those guys, knowing how great they are, and knowing like I had a chance like to get those guys. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
I think that's a good feeling. Yeah.
And hear that, internet? Did you hear him saying the ultimate respect for Tom Brady? You guys clearly
Yeah.
are great. You're going to have the gold jackets here going forward. If we talk about Patrick Mahomes a little bit, obviously, and by the way, if you go and
Uh-huh.
play back in January, then like maybe you can pick off Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. I don't know that he's off your list. I think you have a
Yeah.
couple more. I was seeing that I was like maybe he'll come back for this.
Yeah, for sure.
But when it comes to Patrick, I got to sit down with him or the Chiefs really. I sat down with him a couple of weeks ago, and I said, "How are you looking at this year? Like, what's going on up here? You know what it's like to lose a Super Bowl twice, unfortunately, and then what that next year is like. Is it a revenge tour? Is it a whatever?" And he's like, "I'm just so sick of hearing everybody talk. I'm sick of it." He wants to just
Yeah.
go play. Can you, like, I know as a fan on my couch at 1 p.m. what it looks like if it's a revenge tour, it's Patrick, whatever. They won 15 games last year. What goes on in that locker room, knowing him off of a Super Bowl loss? Like, what does
Mhm.
this year look like in that locker room as they're on this tour?
Oh man. Oh, I mean, if I can, really, if I could kind of put a finger on it, man, like it's intense. I think it's this seriousness, right? And I think like coaches and players alike, I think they have to be able to tap into that mindset in the spring, throughout training camp. You can't like save that type of stuff for middle of the season, or when the season starts. So I think it's all about mentality. It's all about attitude. And if I know those guys like I think I know 'em, they haven't slept. They haven't had a good night of sleep since they lost that game. So I think Patrick is extremely motivated. I think Kelsey's motivated. And then obviously Coach Reed and Coach Spags, like I know those guys. Like
Mm.
they probably haven't left the building since they lost that game. You know what I mean? So I could see those guys starting fast, and definitely playing with an edge to really begin and kind of take them throughout the season.
Coach Mathieu with Spags would be pretty nice. Maybe eventually.
It
You're saying
would,
you're not
yeah,
coaching
yeah.
this fall. I don't know how much I believe that. I would never ask you this as a player. So now I can ask you now. Last one, and maybe this is like your media. We're dipping in here. I feel like it's okay to ask you: Is Patrick the greatest quarterback?
Patrick Mahomes.
Hmm.
Oh man, is he the greatest quarterback like of all time?
Up to you. You can hedge it how you want.
I mean, um, well, I would say he's a great quarterback. I say like greatest of all time. I think that's still like reserved for Brady. And I think with Brady, like that's just longevity. That's respect. That's just playing against this guy, on the biggest stages. Like he was one of the most competitive, accurate. Like he just had like a single mindset to win by any means necessary. And like he was always a challenge to go up against. I think, you know, being the greatest of all time is like, you know, I don't think it's like a 8, 9, 10 year thing. You know, I think if Pat like is able to get to like year 15, year 16, I think at that point, maybe yeah, he'll be the greatest of all time. But I think Brady and just everything he's kind of he accomplished, and just the touchdowns, and you know the win percentages, right? Like the Super Bowls.
Hmm.
I think you still have to respect that. But I think Patrick is like definitely like a close second. Like he's closing in. You know.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's on his way. You know who doesn't
Yeah.
like talking about quarterbacks? We're going to take a break, and I do want to say before we bring on our guest to give you all the love here who used to play with, congratulations on retirement. Take a break, take a
Thank you.
beat. I hope you're feeling all the love from every team, college through NFL, and really just like the lasting impact you had on changing the game. Everything you've done in your community, the Tyrann Mathieu Foundation, has been legendary. So we cannot wait to see
Thank
what's
you.
next. But you know who doesn't like, you're welcome. Do you know who doesn't like talking about quarterbacks or hearing anything good? This guy,
Who's
Dwight Freeney, Hall of Famer, joining the show. You must hate this.
that?
What's up? What's up,
What's up, my
man?
guy? How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm good. Congratulations, yo.
Thank you, man.
Listen,
Thank
oh
you.
my goodness, what a career. What a career.
Appreciate it, brother.
I remember when you was a young pup in
I
AZ,
know, right? I know,
and now we're
dog.
talking about
2015.
retirement. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
tell you, 2015, my first year, my last year at Arizona was his rookie season.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And
What
he was
what
a
do you
ball, he was a
remember about
baller
it?
then. He was a
Yeah,
baller. He had that mentality. I knew he was going to play for a long time, because he didn't
yeah,
seem like a rookie. He didn't have that mentality of a rookie. He had a mentality like I've been here for a while. I'm gonna stay here for a while.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that. It was awesome. It was awesome.
No, I appreciate that, man. Obviously,
Yeah.
like me and Kay was talking about it earlier, man. And I think, one of the best things that probably could have ever happened to me was,
Hmm.
going to Arizona, right,
Yeah.
and being in a
Yeah.
locker room with, guys like you, Calais Campbell, obviously Larry and Pat, but just to
Yeah.
kind of have that Darnell Dockett's of the world, the Carlos Dansby's,
Hmm?
the
Yeah.
Rashad
Yeah.
Johnsons and Gerard
Yeah.
Powers,
Yeah.
like I think
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that group of veterans that I had, man, like y'all was like the best representation for me because
Yeah.
what y'all did on the football field is what y'all did off the football field. And it was a blessing, man, because none of you guys ever kind of leaned me in the wrong direction, right? And I took pride in that. I took pride in being a professional, right? Like, and
Yeah.
I think guys like you, man, y'all had a big part in helping me, just understand that professional side of it. Like this is a job. This is our business, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm always reflective of that, man. But I'm mostly grateful because I know a lot of
Yeah.
guys get led the wrong way, and
Yeah.
I was just happy that the guys that was around me, they did it the right way, and I could look back and be proud of that.
Well, that was our job, man.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
the vets, so the vets got to always
right,
pay the way for the younger generation. You know the same
yeah,
thing, being in there for 12 years. So
yeah,
We
man,
will we'll run this back in Canton in like 5 years, Dwight. You can welcome in
let's do
into
it.
the
He got my
family.
vote.
yeah,
You know, he got my
yeah,
vote
You'll
all
be on the
day.
same team once
yeah,
again. Tyrann,
We
thank you
need
for your
that.
time this morning. I know you're getting pulled in a million directions, but you are
yeah,
truly one of one, paving the way for Minka and Brian Branch and everybody. Nickel
yeah.
in safety at the highest level. You changed all of that. So, I mean, teams were not
Thank
sure
you.
what to do with a player like you, and now literally everybody's trying to find the next you. So we'll see you on TV.
Yeah,
It sounds like we'll talk. I'm
yeah.
going to buy you stuff. Congrats on your
I
career.
got you. I appreciate it, Kate. Thank you a lot. Means a lot to
Thanks,
me.
Tyrann.
Oh
Always,
yeah.
always, always. Saints, Chiefs, everybody
All right.
all across the league celebrating.